A couple of cool properties. As we said, that this does, it's very easy to construct the MHI for one tau from the other. So you can go from tau 30 to tau 15. And that's basically a linear scaling, right? So if I have an action that can go fast or go slow, that's okay. It's not okay for an action that goes, the first half of it is fast and then the second half is slow, where I have to do something more serious, some more serious dynamic time warping or something like that. The whole idea is that we have these atomic primitives that can be performed quickly or slowly, but they don't have lots of parts to them. It's recursive, so it's very fast. What's interesting is, and I've had conversations with some people who do work in vision from the neural side or from computational vision from biology. You could imagine building something like these MHI detectors from very simple neural hardware, basically filters with slow responses. And the fact that these can work from very low resolution images, which I haven't shown, but because it's just a global pattern, you don't need a lot of pixels, it means that out here in your peripheral vision, where you have hardly any resolution at all, when we do the human vision lesson, we'll talk about how you think you can see out here, but not really. You're just making it up. All right. But what it means is with very low resolution, you can recognize things. So I'm not going to claim anything in terms of biological reality. I'll just say that there's some biological plausibility to this kind of work. And there's a reference in PAMI which sort of talks more about this. We actually use this system to build a couple things. Here's Jim Davis when we were both much younger, building a aerobics system where you would be taken through aerobics by the system, and it would watch you, and it would know which aerobic you're doing. I mean, which one you're supposed to be doing. It tells you, so it could recognize it. It was real easy. We did have this cool little thing that the music, and Jim was very clever in making this happen. The music was actually MIDI controlled, so we can control the tempo, right? It wasn't just pre-recorded. So that means we could watch you, and we could always make the music go just a little faster than you're going. So we could sort of just play with your head and speed you up and make you sweat more. But it was cool that the thing would just recognize the system. A more compelling use of this technology, we built this thing called the KidsRoom, and it was an interactive play space for children. The original intent was to just illustrate how computer vision could do some interesting, cool stuff. And what was interesting is a nice article about it in Presence, but some folks came by. I don't remember exactly how it was that they were at the Media Lab, but they really liked it, and they ported it to the Millennium Dome. So they built this big thing called the Millennium Dome in London at the turn of the century, at the Millennium. And they had all these pavilions, and they were looking for interesting technologies, and this is one of them that they put in there. So I have a little video here that shows you, first of all, temporal templates being used. So the monsters teach the kid these moves, and then, which is good because we, if we wanted to, we could actually get training data from the actual kids that were there. But the system was robust enough that we could use training data from just a couple of people that we trained on, and it would work for everybody. We also used Temporal Templates Plus. There's a little extra stuff that we used. It's all in the paper if you wanted to read about it, the Presence paper. And then there was a little interesting, cool thing in Interact. Well, here, I'll just get this started. Okay, so here we have the last bit where the monsters are teaching the last two of the moves. There are only 4 of them. First, he teaches the kid to do a crouch, and then she does her crouch in response, and he's praising how well she's doing these crouches, and that's great. We go to the point where he's teaching her to do these flapping motions, and you can see he's pleased with her, and he's giving her lots of good feedback. And then I think the last one he's going to teach her how to do is how to spin. He says something like, surely love to do a spin, and ready, spin dude. There he goes, he's spinning, and now she starts spinning, and compliments her on that. And when the music changes, basically they're supposed to do their own moves, and the monsters will follow them. But it takes them a little while to catch on, and from now on, he's following her. Now, one of the things that we did in order to make this room look a lot smarter, the monster would say what you're doing, right? And when it would recognize it, but it only did that when it was sure it was right. If it was close, maybe you're spinning, maybe you're flapping, it would just do whichever one it thought was right. But it would only say it if it was sure. And the reason is, if a monster goes and does something that's not what you're doing, what do? You say, oh, he wanted to do something else. You just ascribe intentionality to the character. But if he says, oh, really cool spin, and you're flapping, he just looks stupid. So the way you avoid this interactive system from looking stupid is it only speaks when it's sure, and it acts all the time because you'll ascribe intentionality. We wrote that up in the paper. It was kind of a cool insight in terms of how to build interactive characters.